In a local news here is a very interesting incident that happened in Brooklyn Park a couple of days ago. A couple of Muslim American just driving or waiting for their son in Brooklyn Park in their own car, chatting, and all of a sudden a citizen from Brooklyn Park aimed the gun at their heads and asked them to leave the car. And there is a lot of history, a lot of debate about the motive of that person. Talking about neighborhood watch. I don't know what that means. Vigilante. Talking about people surrounding a mosque in Phoenix with guns. We're talking about people. Racial profiling young Muslims, the FBI, entrapment of young Muslims, and they have show and tell press conference. What is going on with America these days? I have no idea. I know Churchill once said, America will eventually get it right, but after they've tried everything else. We have here our two guests. We have here on my left, Mr. Adli Abu Mayala, and next to him, his wife, Ms. Majida Abu Mayala. Those are the two Muslim American. They were threatened under the gun while they are waiting for son in Brooklyn Park. Welcome to BelAhdan, Mr. Abu Mayala. And welcome, Don. Thank you so much. It seems like there is a huge campaign, Islamophobia and anti, from the top notch, from the FBI to congressmen and people, top official come up with crazy idea about Muslim and Islam of all of this. So when you hear this type of things, do you think there is any relation about the overall attitude and this kind of Islamophobia that's been happening since 9/11 and what have you?
It could be the reason what it triggered her to act that way, because she saw my wife with the hijab, with the scarf on her head, that these are the type of people that the media is talking about, and it's the style that they do suspicious stuff. That could be one of her motivation, because she reacted like we are going to do something.
Have you ever experienced anything, not exactly that dramatic, but people talk to you about the way you dress, talking about at supermarkets, shopping malls, whatever?
No.
This is your first?
That's my first time.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a very dramatic. And how long you been in this country?
30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
About 36.
And this 36 years, 30 years, and people still think you are suspicious?
Yeah.
Because you're sitting in the car waiting for your son. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know what that lady is, Mrs. Nancy Noble, whatever.
Noble,
yeah, Noble. I don't know what's Noble, but Noble. She's almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
She lived and seen a young. And so what happened after that? Now you what? Now what's your son was like? I mean, it must be terrifying.
Yeah, he was
15 years
scared.
old,
Yes, he was.
So how was he reacted to this?
I was shouting from the car, Lulu, Lulu, be careful, Lulu, Lulu, careful. She has a gun. She has
Arabic
a gun.
or in English?
In Arabic.
Would
so
that
she doesn't
infuriated
understand.
her
Yes,
when you
yes.
speak in Arabic in front of her?
When she saw the Kablani's family and my son coming out of the house, and I start talking to them, she put the rifle down.
She hid it in her back.
And put it behind her back, and she stood like this with her hands behind, with the rifle behind, everything behind, and was just watching what we were saying. And
this is like something in the movie, like Cowboy or something.
Yeah, it's
Cowboy and
yeah.
Indian. Or
it's and then my wife, when she saw her putting the rifle down behind her back, she got out of the car, came
So
to.
all this happening while you are in the car?
I was
Yeah.
scared. I
Yeah.
was
Froze. She was
froze. I couldn't even dial 911.
Only three numbers.
Yes,
She
911. I couldn't.
One of them is two eyes, you know. No, I can imagine. I'm
My
sitting
brain
here
shut down.
Yeah.
I was very terrified,
Uh-huh.
scared, shaking. I'm watching my husband walking through
Imagine.
the driveway.
I know how you recover from something like that.
and kept saying, you are suspicious, suspicious. That means we are a target for her because we already in her mind.
Yeah. She
Suspicious.
decided that.
Yeah, she made her mind that we are suspicious and she could come with any reason to shoot.
So driving while Muslim or sitting in the car while Muslim is a crime now?
It looks like to her.
So the police came?
No, then the Kablani's kid went to her and said, why do you have a rifle on you? These are my friend parents. She told him, well, I saw them suspicious and I believe they were suspicious, and the police told me if you see anything suspicious, you can go after him with your rifle. And I told her, no, you can't do that. That's against the law. Nobody can go after somebody with a rifle. And she said, well, that's what the police told me, and that's what I'm doing. I'm watching the neighborhood. If I see something suspicious, the police told me I can go after him.
And?
And my wife came, got out of the car and came and said, you scared us. You scared us to death. Why you haven't lifting the gun on us? What did we do to you? Adley, call the police. And when I went to call the police, my phone died. The battery died.
She asked us not to call the police.
And then I said, you call the police from your phone. And she couldn't.
I
Her
couldn't,
hand
I couldn't.
tight, everything. She couldn't call
I
the
was
police.
scared very.
And then
very.
when she were saying, call the police, call the police, call the police, she kept saying, please don't call the police. Please don't, I won't do that again.
That's
The
what she
lady.
said?
The lady,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah. Please don't call the police, please. She kept,
Well, if she was following the police order, why is she afraid
Yeah.
now?
that I don't know why, but she kept begging us not to call the police.
And the kids ask us not to.
And then the Kablani
Do not
kid
call the
said,
police. This
"Please
is my
don't."
neighbor,
don't
and
call
she
the
might
Has
be.
what's her reputation? Has he done shit before?
No, they said they never
said
done
no.
anything.
So there was nothing suspicious in
Nothing.
Brooklyn Park in the last 20 years,
Yeah,
To
or
her,
50
yeah.
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only suspicious thing that Mrs. Noble saw.
Yeah.
That's very hard to believe.
That's what happened.
That's very hard to believe. There's a lot of suspicious things going in Brooklyn Park, in every city.
And we are the only suspicious to her opinion.
And this is the last time she used guns and go out. I mean, we need to know if there is any track record. If the police saying we do not think this is a hate crime because she was drinking or whatever, I think, but if she done this with someone else, non-Muslim, whatever, that maybe give us a clue that she really looks after the neighborhood. Would that be a
But
reasonable
she
thing
should
to do?
know we are the same tribe, the same people, Middle Eastern people, her neighbor.
Yeah.
She should know that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That she's the first time she hunted down a suspicious person from Brooklyn Park.
We don't know.
So how did you get into the police? I thought the police was involved in this.
And then the police was involved after she begged us many times not to call the police, and she wouldn't, and then
We
the
told
Kablani
her,
kid
yeah, okay, let's go home.
asked us
And
not
Really?
to call the police. We said,
Ask
okay,
Adley, let's go
let's
home.
go Lulu home. We took Lulu and went home. On the way home, I said, I'm going to call the police and ask.
But in my heart, I was very angry. I asked
Yeah,
him, we have to
course,
call
I
the
can
police.
imagine, yeah.
I want to call the police right now. And when we got home,
And you live in another
Maple
city?
Grove,
Okay.
yeah.
we live
So
in
it took
Maple
like
Grove.
half an hour, 40
Yeah.
minutes, whatever.
15
20
minutes.
Yeah.
15
And
minutes.
then I called 911 and connected me to Hennepin County, and I asked her to connect me to the police, and she connected me to I told her the story, and she connected me to the Brooklyn Park Police, and I told him, is it legal for neighborhood watch lady to go after somebody suspicious, according to her, with a rifle. He said, who did that happen to? I said, it happened to me. And he said, where? I said, in a Brooklyn Park. What's the house address? I said, I don't want to make a complaint, I just want to know. He said, no, just give me the house address. He asked me that 3 times. Finally, I gave him the address, and he sent police force to that house and investigated the scene. And, well, he said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. So he sent the police force to that house, investigated the scene with that house. Then they went to her house and investigated with her. And it looks like everything we said met. And then they called me and investigated me and my wife and Lulu, my son. And finally, at 2:00 a.m., called us and called me and said the lady is arrested, and we got the rifle in our custody, and she is going to jail.
That night, yes.
Yeah,
She
and
went to
that's
jail.
ended.
And the arrest, why?
The arrest was.
What's the charge?
They did not tell us that. They said,
Allegedly is what? Threatening people?
Oh,
so there must be some.
threatening, she's gonna kill us, holding a rifle
So
on us.
there is a crime of some
Yes.
sort.
yeah, there's 3 charges against
I
her.
mean, she's not supposed to do this.
No.
She was not
No,
supposed
according
to.
to the police, they never told her to carry a gun, never told her to go after anybody with her rifle, and she is not supposed to
And
do
we
that.
were under her control for 20 minutes.
My
Dude.
goodness.
Yeah.
I would like to know what kind of alcohol she was drinking. Some must be good.
We
This
have
is
no-
really amazing. This is really amazing that actually, and we hear this about in the South and Texas and all that. Now, with all the diversity that's happening in Minnesota and all of that, we still see things like that. Well, thank you so much. You are safe. Well, thank you so much for coming and
You're
sharing this
welcome.
with us.
You're welcome.
Wish you all of this. Ustaz Adli Abu Maila and his wife Majida Abu Maila, they just went through a horrible story here in our backyard in Minneapolis, in Brooklyn Park, and do away with Minnesota nice, I think. And we'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum and God bless you all.